Hello and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC. The drug is cut with something bad at this point, but look, we're coming to you live 10 minutes before the final whistle to bring you what I can only describe as a preemptive live stream because none of us want to spend our whole Saturday night talking about this game that was pure trash. Vince, I want to get it out of the way before anyone gets here so they'll keep asking you over and over again. How do you defend Steve Cherundolo here? Because I know you're being paid by the club. Why didn't he start Griezmann for this game?
You're right.
Why didn't he? Yeah, that's a great question. He should have started Griezmann.
Yeah, you have Griezmann in your back pocket. Atletico Madrid did not play today. So, I mean, how could you actually? I think they did. I don't know. Who cares? Look, what's interesting is they rotated clearly, and then had a game plan that was very like possession heavy, which was actually kind of like cool because it was like passing's fun. I mean, if you're gonna like not score, at least do something else in the game. But then the problem was,
I have to see this right now. Jeff Tog is shirtless. Quickly, he rushed off screen. Okay, keep going, Vince.
I mean, I thought it was encouraging that they started the game with some possession. They were actually very efficient at getting the ball into the final third, but then, you know, you have a front three of Kai Kamara, Nathan Ordaz, and David Martinez. And so that's frustrating because then you don't get much out of them. Frustrating that also like LAFC don't seem to have anything. I mean, it's hard to say, like, does LAFC not know how to play any other way than in transition? Or is it the fact that those were the front three? And so we don't know. But what's frustrating, I think, more than anything is like the mistakes that were made that have led to goals, especially the first goal and the second goal and a little bit the third goal, like all avoidable. So regardless of whether you're looking ahead to Wednesday night, you're kind of bummed that we could not avoid those mistakes. And then also just like it was a complete collapse after the second goal. Like
we could say preemptively the same thing for the fourth goal, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah. It is. We all saw the roster going into the game. Mm-hmm. That's the most we're going for a point roster I've ever seen our team play. Clearly, we were focusing on the U.S. Open Cup, but like, I think you also have to keep in mind too, like this team is winless in how long? Like what that like tenacity to win every game that we felt in the, I want to say, second quarter of the season into the third quarter of the season is completely gone now as we build into a cup game. And I think that's the real scary part about this. And I think if we end up losing to Kansas City, you know, I don't think Dolo is going to be fired, but I do think it would be valid to begin questioning something needs to change with this team, right? Like if I don't think we are there right now. And I think Dolo definitely makes it to the end of the year. But I think if you lose 2 cup games after last year, where we lost 3 cup games last year.
7.
You have to at some point say, that's interesting, right? Like we can't always defend it despite his win-loss record. That said, this game I don't think is one that we cared all that much about. I don't care all that much about it. It's why we're doing this 10 minutes before the game ended. But I do think it's not, I don't know. I don't think it's crazy to begin having those conversations if we lose on Wednesday. I'm hoping that we don't lose on Wednesday, but this team inspires no confidence lately.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say that there's a 0.0% chance, regardless of what happens Wednesday, that Steve is let go.
I agree.
And people can be upset about that and say that I'm defending him, but reality is this close to playoffs, like who would step in that you would feel like can change the team around? And then the other thing is like
Greg Berhalter.
Of course, but actually too late, guys, because now supposedly he's going to the Chicago Fire, so we missed our chance.
Oh shit, really?
Shit. Yeah. And I think the Chicago Fire are actually going to give him like not just the head coaching role, but like basically the sporting director role, which always works well.
Go on the KC route.
Yeah, just let him do everything.
Yeah.
I think I want to touch back on the kind of one-trick pony style play. Like it's been incredibly effective, which is like why it's tough to talk about. Like this team has defended and countered its way into finals, and yes, they've lost finals, but you have to get there first. I just wonder, as much as like we saw them play a little bit like with possession until they got absolutely dominated by Columbus trying to play possession in that 5-1 game, like, do we even have the pieces to play a possession game? Because there's not really any passers out there. I mean, there's Atuesta, who I think can be up and down. I thought he was probably one of the better players in that Austin game if you had to pick anyone out. He was okay in a role deeper, but then had no one to pass to in this game. If we want to switch styles of play, I'm here for it. I just don't know with this roster if it's possible. Now that we've seen it, now that we've seen them try it, I thought they could. I have second thoughts.
It's a good point. We saw them do it. I don't get what changed. Like, Tillman's back. We saw them do it well for a period of time.
Well, this is the lineup. Like, I know no one wants to hear this, and you're fans, and so
I don't mean like just today though. Like, they haven't been able to play that way for.
But Darren, what was the lineup? What was the lineup the game before?
So sorry, Nut as added with a super chat. This is not fun. Nut, thank you so much.
You,
couldn't agree more.
The game totally or agree. Us?
Yeah, us.
Yeah. Nut, if you could clarify, is it us or the game?
Yeah. A regular comment would be fine.
I get what you're saying, Darren, and I don't totally disagree with it. But then also, like, what if you imagine what the best line LAFC's top 11 is? When has it been on the field? In the last,
I'm not making
games.
Any argument at all. It's a genuine question. Like, I don't understand.
Oh, for LAFC, baby, we're back in it. We're never going to lose this game. We're not going to lose. We're going to win.
I'm behind. This is great. Points. I get to watch it now.
And of course, it's Atuesta.
Atuesta.
I've never said a bad word about Edward.
They're trolling us.
I mean, look. I love it. We also
he looks so exhausted. That's so funny. He's like, I scored. Oh.
Atuesta and Segura, the two guys who have been like the bane of fans' existence for the last month, also were the two people involved in both of the first two goals. It just is like it couldn't be any more beautiful for the narratives, I would say. Oh, a great deflection. We scored off the deflection.
There's been I think at least two of their goals were deflections too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's like a very light happy foot, like despite giving up 3 goals, like Thomas Hasal
looked good.
He looked fine.
Like for a backup goalie that is not going to play much, and then maybe if Lloris plays next season or next season's his last, like I'm not totally upset at Thomas Hasal being the goalkeeper in waiting.
He stopped 2 1-on-1s with Jesus Ferreira. Like that's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
I will say that one save on Ferreira's that went off the post felt like a real lucky save. Like he dove.
Doesn't matter.
You do what you got to do. Yeah, fair.
You just got to get something on it.
One of their goals felt lucky too. It's like that's what it is.
Totally. I agree. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just to get ahead of it, like no one's defending this game. I feel like there's a sense of like, who can defend this? No one. This sucks, right? This is like we played poorly. The only thing we're pointing out is the team was set up to not play at their best, right? We put our C squad. We started Ordaz and Martinez, and I want to say Martinez had an incredible half. I thought Martinez played excellent in the first half.
I liked him.
He passed the ball a lot. He was looking for other players. He had an incredible pass across the field to Ordaz that was intercepted by Kamara, that if Kamara didn't intercept, would have landed perfectly at the foot of Ordaz. I do think Martinez sometimes passes the ball a little bit too heavy, but that one was a really nice pass for Martinez. I don't know. I've given Martinez so much shit that I just want to say I think he's been really good the last 2 times we've seen him.
Yeah, I actually had in my notes. He looked dialed in and like he actually wanted to be there and like he was focused and actually giving a shit. Not that he doesn't give a shit usually, but like he seems like lost and kind of desperate in other games, and he didn't seem like that at all this game. I think maybe it's just like he's young. I think it's a childish thing. I think he got the start.
He's raw. He's very raw.
Like he's just good. I got what I wanted.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
If you expect an 18-year-old to have like supreme understanding of like tactical and not just tactical, but just moments in game. Every time you get the ball is basically like there's a snapshot or something that you should kind of have at least some kind of idea going into it. But this guy's he's incredibly talented, and for most of his life he's just been able to be like YOLO and do whatever he wants. And now he's having to learn the game. And I think we have seen a progression. I mean, the goal against Austin is a great job of him to go where the goals are scored. Like, you talk about somebody that we bring up from time to time, Brian Rodriguez was like allergic to going anywhere near the 6-yard box. But the guy got there and he scored a goal. And then I agree with Travis. I think he had some moments, but he was like a one-man team out there. And again, you have no continuity between those, and there's not, it's hard to definitively say like the team was bad because the guys out there they're also the B squad, C squad guys, and they have no continuity versus but LAFC only knows how to counter and play into space. So it's tough. But I, as Travis keeps going back to it, it's like everything was geared towards Wednesday. If you wanted to play starters today and then something bad goes Wednesday, then like no one's going to be able to defend that. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it just relies on us winning on Wednesday, right? Like, if we don't win Wednesday,
we better win on Wednesday.
Rotating these 2 Texas games and dropping these points when we want to try to get home field for the playoffs as well. I mean, like within a week, we thought we could win the West, and now it's like, will we be in 4th? Will we be in 5th? That's how tight the table. Table.
Is the table tight? We don't know.
It feels it at the moment because we're so bad.
Listen, that supporter shield's still out there. Miami tied today. We're still in it, guys.
I think we're getting close to not being in it soon.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close there, Darren. I don't know where the math is at, but
I'm
I
glad they shut up when the math tells me.
Should we bring on some callers to let them fume for a bit?
Yeah, come bitch with us. Oh, wait. We've got another super chat. Daniel, thank you so much. He says, Happy Foot, Transformers 1, Sad Foot this game.
Fair.
Solid movie recommendation.
Would have gone.
You're getting some love in the chat for it. I know, people agree with you. Transformers 1, is that appropriate for kids? Should I take kids to it or no?
I think it's a cartoon Transformers.
Yeah, it seems like one of those things that's like,
I would assume
go either way.
I love that now, just now everyone's figured out that like, oh wait, the comic book movies are actually probably better when we do them as cartoons because they were cartoons to start with.
Yeah.
Should we bring on sorry, I had to leave the camera I can't find my dog's cone, but he's got an injury on his foot, so I had to tuck a blanket around him so he can't get himself while I'm doing this.
Works.
I don't hold on, I never put my dog in the stream.
Tyson.
He's like, I can't be bothered. That's the I can't be bothered face.
I'm lying down, Travis.
Well, let's get it over with.
Let's do it.
Let's get it over with. The man we all want to hear from after a 3-1 loss. What are you doing, buddy? I
thought you were talking to Jeff.
Our good friend. There's a reason I'm wearing this shirt tonight. Jeff Talk, welcome to the show. The heel of the foot, everyone's least favorite caller. Jeff Talk. Is that why you were shirtless before? Were you putting that on?
You wanted to match? Oh, that's sweet.
Thank you for trying to body shame me, Travis. I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, really.
I feel like I've earned it.
Positive of you.
Wow, sorry to interrupt you guys. Daniel has a response for me that another super chat. Thank you so much. He says, if your kid is well behaved, the film is fine. Great to know. Great to know. Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks for popping in there, Dan. Really appreciate it.
Jeff, what's the worst thing you saw tonight?
I think there was human poop on the sidewalk today when I was walking around the neighborhood.
In the match, please. Thank you so much.
I think Atuesta committing really heavily to never defending is pretty bad. If I was him and I was
good in the context of fulfilling a commitment.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if someone was paying me millions of dollars a year to play soccer, I would probably try to defend a little bit. That would be my, just a suggestion to him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, I have a really important question for you guys. What bar do you guys all want to go to watch us lose in the first round to Houston away? I was thinking
that hurts. That one got me.
Rough.
Normally you don't get me, but that one got me.
Yeah.
The lowest bar, I think, is the answer.
Yeah.
Capri Club, because they don't have televisions.
That's good. That's a good bit. I like that one. We can watch it on our phones and just sort of like stare off into space.
No, I don't want to watch.
You're gonna watch, Travis. You have an LAFC podcast. By the way, I feel for you guys to have to come on here and try and like make this not the fucking most depressing shit in the world. It's a lot more fun to do like an LAFC podcast when they're good. It's not as fun.
It's fine. We're putting it on you.
Actually, Jeff, a lot of people have a lot of fun doing the podcast when it's bad. It's just we're not willing to scream and yell and say stupid shit. Sorry,
Well,
shots fired.
Hey, I'm here for it. I got that one. Don't worry.
Vince doesn't speak for me. I want everyone to know Vince doesn't speak for me.
Okay, so I guess my general vibe is like, obviously we can't fire Dola before the end of the season. I don't even know that like maybe that's the play here, but like I do think you have to regard this season as mostly a failure if we don't win one of these two remaining cups, right? Like it doesn't appear that we're much better than we were last year, right? Like we've lost 1 million finals in a row, and the one final we won, which was one of the highlights of my soccer life and my regular life, if I'm being true to myself. We only won because Gareth Bale wanted to come here on a TAM deal to stay in shape for the World Cup.
I have to stop. I've seen that comment a few times.
I really hate that.
We played really hard in that final, and so many
we
fucking
played
games.
Hard? Oh, thank God
yes.
we played hard.
Oh, do you think we would have?
As long as we tried really
we
hard.
won the fucking MLS Cup. What are you talking about? Like, he's a member of the team. It's not like he came in and like was tagged in.
Maxime Crepeau literally broke his leg,
Yeah.
and then they came back down in extra time. And you're going to say it was only – and by the way, Gareth crossed the ball to himself. He actually set it up, then got the ball to the end line, then crossed it to him. Like
I get it. I get that it was a close game. But we still fucking won MLS Cup, and it wasn't in a single moment, right? There was a lot of things that build up.
You can also just as easily make the argument that like anyone could have been there and just headed it. Like it wasn't that difficult of a header.
No, he's making the argument. He's making the argument that only Gareth Bale could do it, and what you're saying is that
he's not the only person who could have made that work. Like he's not
even Kai Kamara.
He should have been like, no, I want a full team win in this final. So actually, I'm going to pass on Gareth Bale because I know that at the end of the year, he's going to save our lives, and everyone's going to talk about it in a way that's going to give him all the credit.
We won the best MLS Cup in history, and we're like, well, it doesn't really count.
I want to say this isn't to detract from.
Let's be clear.
You are right. Like, you know, if nothing happens here, this is a disappointing season. Like, clearly, you have to win a trophy. Like, you can't just you can't just say like, oh, we did okay. Like we said last year it was disappointing. What
Hold up, Vince, I'm gonna have to interrupt you. Anoush, what do you think I looked like? I get asked a lot. So
for anyone who listens later, for people who listen later,
that's not the size I thought you were. I get a lot of comments on what my voice sounds like versus who I
am. Breakaway from Dallas. Jesus Ferreira. What do we got? 97th minute. Nope, he turns it over.
For people who are just listening,
he's a bum.
Oh, I'm on a delay. Anoush comments, I've never watched the video recordings since I've only listened before. Jeff Talk looks nothing like he sounds.
Fuck you, Anoush.
Anoush follows up by saying,
I love it.
All right, we've officially lost 3-1.
But isn't it nice though, Jeff, that you sound like you have hair?
I got that's a tongue twister.
I mean, you don't want to sound bald too, right?
Oh, that's nice. I guess that's nice. Is it a disappointment to people when they see me? Is this why I don't get stopped at Bank BMO? But here's what I'll say is that Atuesta has not been good. Lewis O'Brien, more like Lewis O'Bum. Omar Campos, he's playing like it's camp because it's ironic. You know what I mean? Like I can do this for everybody. I wouldn't say
you haven't proved that.
No, I think you're doing a really good job. So keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you do it at all?
Eddie Segura, do you guys know what that is in Spanish? Well, if you know what it is in Spanish, it's the opposite of how he's playing. Yeah. No thanks, bum.
Okay.
You can't just keep calling everyone bum. What are you, a Yankees fan?
I kind of like it. Bum.
Here's why I call him.
Thank you for not saying Red Sox fan.
That's what you can yell at the screen with children. So if I say he's an idiot, you know what I mean? Like if I say bad words, no go. But if I call somebody a bum,
I say bum all the time at baseball games. It's very fun to yell. You're a bum.
It is a baseball. That's officially a baseball thing.
Child safe heckle. Nate Ordaz, more like Nate. Oh, don't play him because he's.
Let's talk about Nathan Ordaz for a second. I think I saw a comment earlier. I think it was from Lindsay who said, "Can we talk about Ordaz not progressing, because last year it seemed like he had a lot of potential." I think that is an accurate description of Nathan Ordaz. We were all very excited about Nathan Ordaz last year. I think mainly because he looked like a 12-year-old running around out there and was very fun and almost like took the Latif Blessing role of like just bringing energy, right?
Gritty.
He doesn't even really do that this year, right? It hasn't. I mean, there's moments where you're excited to see him in places, but like when he's out there, he's basically a non-entity. I was disappointed that Martinez came out over him, I would say, when the substitutions happened. I don't know. What do you guys think about Ordaz starting for this team in a league match?
I mean, you know how I feel. I would
kind of hope this is the last season it happens.
Wow. Normally very, very sober, reasonable Vince.
No, I've talked about his ceiling. Like look, Juan is a fast player, but he gets ahead of the ball. He gets a great through ball played into him, and nothing comes of it. You at the very least have to get a shot off or create something dangerous there, and he's not able to. I mean, to Travis's point, a little disappointing that Martinez came out, but also like if he's struggling a little bit, hey, at least I want him available for the Open Cup game and not, you know what I mean? Like let Ordaz run the rest of the hard minutes here. And this is frustrating, you know, Dueñas too. Like these guys, they can do things in little spurts, but you've seen that they're not maybe regular professional players, and they're not even really bit professional players. That's frustrating for an academy that within the next year, you have to say, like, it's been long enough. The academy has been connected. You've had young enough players playing in the system that you should be finding a way to at least get a player out there that you can trade for some MLS value. Like, I don't even think these guys have, other than the value that they provide to being that they don't really count against the cap as homegrown players. There's really not much. And it's disappointing. That's frustrating. And it hurts to say that because like they are just kids. I don't want them to I don't want people to think that like I'm just hammering on them and it's easy to hammer on them. There's a lot of players on that field that need to look in the mirror and be like, wow, we didn't do well today. But the question was, what do you think of him on a whole? And I don't think any of them necessarily they're ready. And that's disappointing.
And that's also an indictment of the system. That is an indictment of LAFC's academy system, in which that's not fun or sexy to talk about in the same way that it's fun and sexy to talk about these guys throwing up on the field tonight. But that's the thing that's separating us from being Columbus, is that we don't have homegrown players who are on the field. We don't have homegrown players who we can trade for GAM. And so everybody's got to be a free agent, and Dolo loves these summer windows. And so we bring in all these tools in the summer windows. We don't have time, and there's not roster consistency because these guys are on short-term contracts versus if they were on homegrown deals, we'd have them for longer. We know we could plug them in. And listen, I get that like Nate Ordaz, even if he was great, he's not going to be playing that much because we just have a lot of wings. We have a lot of strikers, but like, we don't have any outside backs, guys. Wouldn't you love to have a homegrown that doesn't count against the cap that could play, like even just to eat minutes tonight so that we don't have to throw Valencia out there if we don't want to play him? You know what I mean? And to Nuts' point here, he says maybe not taking over the Chivas USA Academy was a bad move. I think that's the single worst move in LAFC team history, is having to grow an entire academy from the ground up, thinking it's going to be better than whatever Chivas had.
But we're not associated with Chivas USA.
It wasn't about thinking it was better. The move, I actually agree with it. It was calculated. You had a bunch of kids that were contracted through Chivas, and then you have a bunch of, like, if you want to just build an academy out of nothing, what you basically have to do is go to a bunch of clubs around the area, which you're going to have to still deal with in long-term things because you're always going to have to deal with them, and say, fuck you, we just showed up, your best players are now on our team. And I actually agree with that, but that does not absolve them from what has happened since, right? Like we are now, like I said, they're kind of on the clock. Like I would say maybe one more year of like really connected academy. And yes, it's been difficult when you have the lights and then you're in LAFC 2 and the league forces you to do all these things that maybe you don't want to do. But if you're going to invest in the academy, you're going to have to see some returns on your investment. And maybe they're not, maybe that's what it is. And we don't know. Maybe they've just pulled back from it more so, and they're not doing the scouting that they need to do. But they're on the clock.
But my thing is, we're in Southern California. We're not in Idaho, right? This is not scouting kids in Minnesota. Like this is a hotbed of soccer talent. Like this is where Landon Donovan came from, right? Like this is where Kai Kamara came from. You can name all these guys that played in Southern California. Like this is not a place in which you should not be investing in your academy. The advantage. So
sorry to interrupt, Vince, Jeff. Sorry, all bald people look the same to me.
Look in the mirror.
Got a super chat. I don't know. These look luscious to me. Giroud is going to pull a bail.
Man. I remember saying that too.
It's we've talked already about Giroud and weirdly about Bale more than Giroud tonight. Actually, we haven't talked about Giroud tonight. I mean, another game. I mean, he came in late, but another game where invisible, right? Not there. I continue to not blame him. I know the talent is there. We have to figure out a game model that works for the best player we have on the field, which is Giroud. And right now he can't touch the ball. And I think a lot of that is because our midfield over the last 2 months, I honestly, since Columbus game, our midfield looked fine in Leagues Cup. And I saw a comment from Tim saying like, we haven't won a MLS game in 2 months. But it's like, well, there wasn't a MLS games for one of those months. So we can say we haven't won MLS games for 1 month. But I get the point of being like, it's a long time to wait as a fan. Yes, I agree. But I think we need a midfield that can pass the ball right now. And even on defense, our midfield's just getting run through by by Dallas. It's just what's happening? That was my craziest takeaway of the whole match. They just it was, you said that he was invisible. I felt like our entire squad was invisible. I was watching ghosts out there.
Did you really think they got run through? Because Eddie plays just a really horrible pass. They score that goal.
On the third goal, he literally was just watching it happen, and it was happening literally around him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say for sure after the second goal, the entire team gave up. I'm just you guys gonna put that out there. So
that happened early enough that that's most of the match to look at.
Sure, I'm just saying at 2-0, they're like, fuck it, let's pack it in. Wednesday, it's hot. I'm not saying that to
Well, I don't want them to
absolve them. Yeah, well,
we just lost to the Galaxy 4-2 after beating them.
I don't want them to do that either.
And they made us look like idiots.
I don't want them to do that either. But you could say that the four of us, all right, well, Jeff, you're excluded from this. You just came on the show. The three of us, we weren't playing in 90-degree heat, and we decided to say fuck it and start our thing early. So these professional athletes, they're human. They do the same things.
I gotta agree with you guys. You're trying harder than LAFC did tonight. Do you know what I mean? There's more effort.
I think they
gave it on the Zoom call than I saw with those ghosts. Also, Darren, to call back to your best joke ever that nobody else heard, the Lamar Haunt Open Cup, because it has a bunch of ghosts in it. Because Dallas ghosts. Good bit.
Did I say that?
Yeah. Oh, I've been thinking about it every time about the Lamar Hunt Open Cup, that you call it the Lamar Haunt Open Cup.
Well, if we lose, it'll haunt us for the rest of the season.
Probably 9 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Darren. When it's a joke's good, You know what I mean? You got to hold on to it.
Appreciate it.
I mean, look, what else is there to fucking say? This is not a fun conversation to have. It's not like we also had an opportunity to score right up top. Looking at my notes, Chanot had what should have been seemingly a simple header that he skied over the top of the bar right at the beginning of the game. And if we scored that one, we could have fucking hunkered down and won 1-0. It just was. I'm trying to look at other things we could talk about. I forgot how good Ibiaga is. It's fun to watch him again, just be bigger than all of our play. We're a small team, and I forget that. We have Giroud and Kamara, but outside of that, on corners, we're not very tall. And Ibiaga is very tall. Omar Gonzalez is very tall, and it's very obvious on those set pieces.
So sorry to interrupt you, Travis. I don't remember if we caught this one or not. We might have, but William Lamb gave us a super chat. I think a super sticker. Thank you so much. Just wanted to throw Travis off.
I do think. Oh no, a comment just reminded me though. I'm like, what has changed since the Crew loss? Obviously, there's a emotional loss that happens there, and you struggle after that. We come back and we win a weird game in Seattle that I don't think we should count. But what really changed, and Murillo's loss has seemed to shuffle a lot of things around for the team that I think maybe is a bigger part of this puzzle than we're remembering, right? We're relying more on Segura, who clearly is not someone we should rely on, right? It's part of the reason we brought in, I'm blanking on his name now, the guy we brought in from Brazil, Marlon. We've yet to see him, but
that's a great point, I think.
And I think with Murray out there, we have a lot more confidence. Murray was in the middle of sprinting up and down the field over and over again for a couple months. He was a big part of this team that's suddenly gone. Lewis O'Brien comes in. I thought he was good initially, but he's been somewhat sloppy, I would say, lately. And then Giroud comes in, takes over for Kamara, and he just doesn't have the legs that Kamara has. And we don't know how to play together. It really feels like the team doesn't know each other.
Well,
the
the thing that has changed, to go back to it again, is the lineup. There's been no continuity in the lineup whatsoever, regardless of Murray going out and other injuries. Like
and that's something Jolo does a lot. Jolo loves changing around the lineup.
He's got games every 3 days.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to really defend him there. I mean, that's just a fact. Like you can't, I will say this. I was at the Austin game. It was the first time I legitimately saw Danny Bouanga look like he was absolutely gassed and tired. And I was actually very happy when he was not starting this game. As much as people would say, like, well, can't he go 45 minutes? Like, he looked absolutely dead. And if it took this to have a little bit more spring in his legs for Wednesday or any other time, like by the end of that game, not even the end of that game, like the 75th minute, I just saw him kind of moving around and he could not be bothered. And it wasn't because he didn't want to, he could not move his legs.
Darren, you got anything to add, you piece of shit?
Hey, fuck you. Yeah, it's tough to be in this position that we're talking about this late in the season. This is right when I want to be hitting our stride, and we have tried to put pieces together haphazardly.
Well, Ryan, you jumped up. Sorry, I just realized Ryan waited around for a half hour and we didn't put him on. We're sorry, Ryan.
Come back. Now Jeff is still on.
Or don't. So we don't have to go longer.
You don't have to do this.
Nothing against you, but we've already been going 30 minutes and circling around the drain, really.
Well, that's what we're here to do, just to be clear. That's the goal. I think we're doing a great job. This is when we're supposed to be hitting our stride. We don't have, Travis, I think, Travis, you made a great point. Both with Murillo being a way bigger part of this than we're thinking about, and that we're not even a team. This should at least look like a team at this point. And the irony is, Vince, you said this at the top of the show, I did like the way they were playing until the first goal came on. I thought they were, it seemed to me like it was this is the B squad, so they're going to pay more attention to the big note from the last match, which was be patient, stay composed, get more passes going. They were doing that. Mm-hmm. They were just straight up doing what we're supposed to be doing in this match until they just broke down, and then they just decided to get worse instead of better. So that's ironic because there was some chemistry there until they completely blew it, and they've never played together, that combination of players. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe there was too many change. It's tough to have, this is a little shaky, this guy in this position, but also he's being serviced by this guy who's also a little shaky in that position. And it's maybe it's too many people to be not your normal rock. No Ilie, no
I just the midfield still wasn't
to help.
I mean the two biggest problems for me was you were able to get in the final third and then nothing. You didn't create shots, you didn't create chances. And then the flip side of that, I think the only bad thing you can say about the midfield in against the ball respect was they weren't able to recapture the ball quickly. We had to then go back and play on defense every single time. And they're not really Tillman. I mean, Brian is kind of the type of guy, but that's why I think you put Ilie in at halftime, because you want somebody that is in order to win the ball back quickly, you have to almost anticipate that you're going to lose the ball. Those guys don't think about that, right? They're how can I pass? How can I dribble? The next guy. And so the personnel is not really there for it. But I think they played, honestly, 45 to 50 minutes. They tried. They gave up a really demoralizing goal, which is hard to come back from when you're already understanding, okay, well, who are the three guys we're passing to? Do we even have a chance to get another goal back? Oh man, if we could have just got 0-0 at half, we would have a real chance. And then, it's frustrating, but and these aren't excuses. I'm just these are kind of the facts. And this is what happened in the game. They were doing, to your point, Darren, they were doing some good things, but then it was but it would be so much nicer if Danny Bouanga was on the end of that pass that Ordaz had, right? Or Mateusz Bogus or any of them, but it's probably for the best that they weren't.
I have a happy foot that I think is being lost in a lot of this conversation. I think it's an important one as well. We only have like 4 more games left with the smokescreen kit, and I think like that's something we should
big
very
happy
much
foot. Yeah,
really
that's a good
as
point.
a group rally around. Like we're almost the only way out is through, right?
It took me so much work to come around. I did come around to that, and it took a lot of work, and that is a nice chapter to close. Great point.
I think if we can get through the smokescreen kit, we can get through this stretch of losses. This team is capable of anything.
You know what?
And we're almost there.
I was about to bring up an actual point, which was the same kind of thing, which is like I think what I'm getting at in my head with all of this is like I just want to see more resilience with this team. Like, sure, there's rotated squad, like everything we've been talking about tonight is like, oh yeah, this is what set them back, and this is why it couldn't work. But it's like I still want to be able to fight through those things and still win. You just if you're going to be in anywhere near a team that wins hardware or like let alone an elite squad, like you just have like I'm not hearing anything that's so much of an obstacle that we shouldn't be able to be successful finding a way around it. So it's like, yeah, we couldn't find a way around this obstacle, and it like would have been nice if like it was a different scenario, but like that's just how we're going to continue to lose forever. So
Jeff,
like they got to figure out a way to like come back and take hits and take challenges and still win.
We don't play from behind very well at all this season, especially.
No, we're terrible.
We don't.
Jeff, I'm going to say goodbye to you.
Have style play that does it. You play to defend and counter. That's why they're so brutally efficient when they do get one goal. Like their record with the first goal is ridiculous. Like it's elite. And it's not like it's like they're 3-0 when they score the first goal. Like they're like up at like 11 or 12 wins. So they're doing it on a consistent basis. Again, I just don't know if they have technically the personnel. It's hard to say what is coaching versus what is the coach looking and saying, these are the guys I have. This is my best chance to win. Why wouldn't I put them out in this way? I don't care if you want a different style of play. My job's on the line. This is how I win games. And you could say, oh, they lost this game. Sure. But he's still got to, he's got to go into the game and say, this is how I think we have the best shot to win.
Yeah.
And it's worked more than a lot of teams. I mean, I know, I understand the frustration, but you can't come in here and say like, we're absolute shit. Like
I'm
it's
pointing
just
out
not,
one
that's
thing
just not
that's not
factually
working.
accurate.
I'm pointing out one thing that isn't.
Oh no,
working.
I'm not saying you. This is more like the royal you, like all of us.
Yeah, we're all Royals tonight.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do it for a while because his face is disgusting me. I want to kick Jeff off the stream.
Okay.
I like your cold sore there, Travis.
That's motherfucker. It's a pimple. It's a pimple, you piece of shit. And I know you were on when I was talking about how I'm embarrassed of my pimple because it looks like a fucking cold sore, you piece of shit. I'll never forgive you. Travis. I'll never forgive you, fucking shit. I'll destroy you.
Wow.
Give me back my microphone, you piece of fucking garbage.
I'm sorry, Travis. We let up.
Technical knockout for the heel tonight.
Yeah. Truly.
In the last round.
You were in fact trying to him off, and you could have easily gotten out of there unscathed, but we just kept letting him in. That's on me and Darren.
Yeah, there was no support there for me.
Yeah, that's on me and Darren.
And now
your support was I was laughing hysterically.
You piece of garbage. Let's bring on Luke because I don't want to fucking talk about this game anymore. Luke, welcome to the show.
What did I tell you guys 3 nights ago? What did I say about tonight?
I don't remember at all.
I said
I don't
Dallas
remember anything that happened to me within the last greater than 10 hours ago.
Dallas is going to suck because we're just not going to be able to show up because honestly, for me,
that's right.
our focus should be Wednesday. Our focus is Wednesday. Our focus is Wednesday. That's what I care about. If we don't win Wednesday, then like let's have that conversation. Do I give a shit about this game? No, I don't give a shit about this game. I was having a good day, guys. I was out at an opening of a new LGBT center out in Whittier. We were having a great morning, celebrating, taking care of people, making sure they've got a place to be safe and have, make friends and do whatever the hell they want to do. That was far more fun than hanging out with the 3252 to watch this game. No, I don't mean to sound like I'm saying anything negative with 3252. I'm talking about the game. The crowd for the 3252 watch party, awesome. The game, shit. Now, We got to win Wednesday. If we can win Wednesday, then all these hashtag dole out folks like Timothy, I see you. We got, maybe rethink that a little bit.
We talked about it at the beginning of the show. We started 10 minutes early. I think people might have followed us at that moment, but we talked about like Dolo's going to be here to the end of the season. We're not getting rid of him. I do think if we lose the Open Cup, it becomes a more honest conversation, right? Like at least we can have the conversation. I think they've all been premature up until now. I still think even if we lose the Open Cup and at the end of the season,
I don't want to interrupt you, Travis, but Efren Benitez wanted to spend $10 just to say that you're wrong. If they lose on Wednesday, then I'll be officially Dolo out.
That's right. Benitez has got a lot of money. And by the way, I think it's
thank you for the
Ephraim,
super chat.
not Ephraim.
Thank you, Ephraim.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the only other thing I would just say, every fucking season we have this like spell in like August, September, and everyone freaks the fuck out. And last year, all you guys talked about for weeks and weeks was, yes, you did, Joey, was tight table. That's all you talked about. Do you remember that? Have you forgotten? Tight table. I can.
How could I forget a fantastic
I can hear the voice of Travis burrowed in my brain. I probably dreamt the voice of Travis saying tight table and like stuttering over it.
I know
like
you did.
You said
that was precisely the goal
know.
of the joke. I'm so happy to hear this.
But like, that's where we're at again. This is not new. This is not news. This is the same fucking thing every year. And everyone wants to act like, oh my God. Yes, Ruben, I'm drinking that fucking wine when we win that US Open Cup because we're going to have another trophy in our cabinet and that wine's going down my gullet. Okay, that's all I got to say.
Travis, are you muted?
Yeah, Travis, you're muted.
Travis is so freaked out. He's muted.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. My wife just left to get ice cream, so I muted so you couldn't hear her.
That'll be a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think I mentioned last post game, like these losses don't bother me as much. I think because I'm weirdly giving them too much credit based on last year, them going through the same thing, right? But just because we got out of it last year doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get out of it this year. Except we have to do it again. It takes mental digging.
Freaking out.
Yes, I agree with you. And we said this at the beginning of the show.
I don't want to interrupt you guys, but the cost to say Dolo out is dropping precipitously. It is now $9.99 from Tim Morgan. And he says that if you don't feel that way, that you need help.
I don't want to believe some guy only paid 99 cents to tell
Efren is
us
back
that.
in there, by the way.
$9.99.
$5. This is a good one. By the way, when are we beautiful Patreon subscribers getting another Oops All Banter episode?
When they stop playing games.
He's not wrong.
I think the problem that we're dealing with right now is that our normal episodes have become Oops All Banter episodes.
Yes, they have.
So we're trying to figure that out in the writers' room.
I do.
So here's my sad foot.
Quickly. If people do want to say Dolo out, this is the place to do it. People at the club listen. So make sure that you're paying us at least $10, and we will definitely say
going up.
Jason has spent $20 to say that if we lose, I have to be negative about the club. But obviously, he wasn't on the first half of this live stream because I definitely said negative things. I don't know what do I have to say. Is the bar of negative saying that somebody should be fired? Because I'm not going to do it. I just like as someone that has not had the job for long periods of time. Like, I'm not going to be the one that goes like, people should be fired. Sorry, not my.
I'll go on the record and say I totally agree with that. I will never support anyone being fired.
So sorry to interrupt, Darren. $4.99, Luke out.
Thing for a human being to do.
$4.99? No.
The price has been set for Luke out.
Tim,
so sorry to interrupt.
You got to spend a lot more than
$9.99 for Vince in from GTG Law, and that guy's a lawyer. That guy's a lawyer.
We're in a tangled web at this point.
That's a legal contract.
So here's my sad foot.
Sorry, go
Vince,
for it.
You can confirm or deny. My sad foot tonight is Kai Kamara.
Oh,
and I'm saying that because there were a few times where there was a ball that he just like stopped the flow of play. He like got it. There was one that would have been a perfect, beautiful through ball to Nathan. I'm not saying that Nathan's going to be great, but like he just cut it off. He kept stopping the flow of play. He kept slowing things down in the offensive third, and it was pissing me off. if he had gotten that goal with that header, like somewhere in the second half when it was 1-0, maybe it's a different story. But that
look, he absolutely cuts that ball out, and I won't even comment on the outcome or what I thought the outcome would have been. But he was definitely put in there to kind of hold up play and allow the team to come forward, and that was kind of in his mind. So because you saw him do it some other times where it was helpful, but again, probably at grand scheme of things, was it really going to change much? Sadly, no.
So sorry to interrupt. Mr. SG for $1.99 says, we shat on Bawanga this time of the season 2 years ago. Yeah, we were talking about would we ever score a goal again?
Wait, hold on. How specific are we being here? Was it actually this time of the season?
Yes.
It was yeah. No, it was a little bit before, right? It was it was from Champions League through to Campeones Cup. Is that correct?
Which was this week.
Was it this week?
Campeones.
Okay. I just want to check it. I just want to make sure.
But it definitely started earlier. It started even before Leagues Cup. We were feeling shitty because Champions League, and then Leagues Cup. I think we sort of like phoned in Leagues Cup. I don't think any of us really cared about that. Also, Tim Morgan really hates Luke. $4.99 while this thing's still in. Look, we have to fire someone. Well, yeah, I don't know. It was I've said this 3 times already. You looked at the roster going into that game. We were trying to get a point. That roster was not good.
I gotta stop you, Travis, because this is just funny because I read it. Jan, I read this actually as, is LAFC rich enough to buy Tata?
We'll trade LAFC rich to...
And absolutely, yes.
LAFC rich to Inter Miami for Tata Martinez?
But that's not fair. Who will find the people with 5 million Instagram followers none of us have heard of?
I think there's a few people that could do that.
For Tata.
Anything else, Luke? I think we're going to try to wrap it up soon because this was a dog shit game.
Yeah, sorry about tonight for everyone. Go to the game on Wednesday and lose your voice on Wednesday night. That's all I got to say.
We need to be this sad when we lose Wednesday.
No, fuck that. We're not going to fucking lose Wednesday. We're going to be happy when we win on Wednesday. None of this bullshit. No, not having it. Not having it. Bye.
You convinced me. Bye, Luke. Luke's a good guy. He brought us up.
I don't think anything we do besides like bring a better vibe to the stadium actually has an effect on the outcome. So I think
we are the reason Stipe Buke was bad. I think when we were so mean to Stipe Buke and he listened to the podcast once and really got in his head. I think it was
us having that much power is overall that whole situation was a win.
If you want the team to be good, we should stop doing this podcast.
Well, people have said it.
G2G Law gives us $1.99 for a sticker. Thank you so much. Look, Travis only wants to wrap it up because his wife got ice cream. Travis out. It isn't not on my mind. It's Saturday night, and I just spent 2 hours watching dog shit.
100% fair. Yeah.
I mean, man.
LAFC just dropped the Atuesta goal highlight YouTube vid. Thanks, I guess.
Oh, poor content team. They just want to go to sleep. They just want to enjoy their Saturday night too.
Yeah.
And also, I think they were trying to boost up Atuesta's confidence as well. I mean, maybe this will be good for Atuesta. A nice turning point for him to see the ball go in the back of the net.
Before we do wrap this up, I just want to make sure: have we shit on Segura enough this game? I know everyone loves him; seems like a great person, but I don't
think we have shit on Segura enough.
I don't know if we have. It was so egregiously bad. I genuinely give him a pass and have a very long leash for being upset with him. But tonight, it felt like if there was literally not a person there, it would have gone the same way on those plays. It was bad.
But Darren, if there was no one there, they wouldn't have been there to make the bad pass. Think about it.
That's true.
So sorry to interrupt. Carlos says he's using our meditation to get through his sciatica. That's welcome. Very nice.
That's incredible. Thank you so much.
Use a real meditation instead. That would be probably more helpful. People keep being oh, it actually calms me down. It's well, part of it's real meditation. You should just do real meditation.
Also, sciatica's that's some real shit.
Yeah.
Please do whatever it takes.
Are we your gateway drug to meditation too?
I hope so.
That'd be incredible.
For fuck's sake.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I just as bad as sciatica, people who don't subscribe or thumbs up the video. So please make sure you're thumbsing up the video and subscribing.
Wow.
And if you want to see that meditation video, just click on the YouTube thing when you hit subscribe. It's up there right now. It'll help you calm down.
Don't be sciatica.
If you never want to get, you'll never, I promise, if you subscribe to this channel, you'll never get sciatica if you don't have it already. Okay. And that's
we are Alex Jones now.
We're giving medical advice. We did have our first video taken down this week because we were talking about
true. That's a good we were told by YouTube this week that an old episode about San Jose was taken down because we mentioned QAnon in a trivia game.
And of all of YouTube's QAnon problems, clearly we're top of the
list. We're the problem. So
I really thought it was because we gave out financial and medical advice last episode.
Yeah, that's so funny. They haven't caught up yet. They're only on our last season episodes. Sciatica out. Agreed.
We didn't talk about Segura again, but I think we all agree he shouldn't be starting for this team, right? We love him. He's not there.
Maybe he can get there.
It's been 5 years of us saying maybe he could get longer than that.
5 years. He did his ACL twice, guys. This is the player he is. He's a good player. I think it was nice of LAFC, and he has paid them back as a 4th or 5th string center back. Like, guys, if you get to your 4th or 5th string center back, don't expect greatness. Like, that's just MLS.
No, sure. Yeah.
Can we sign someone from the Black Army 1850 to play center back instead of Segura on Wednesday? Honestly, cool.
It's gonna be Chanot and Long.
It's gonna be Chanot. Yeah,
Let's give our lineup. What do we think the lineup's gonna be? Right, we'll do. It's Chanot, Long in the center. Hasal starting, obviously. What Palencia?
Palencia. It'll be Chanot, Long, Palencia, Hollingshead, Lloris.
You don't think Campos?
No.
Okay.
No, I just think that Hollingshead on the right is a kind of different player, and on the left he provides you that like little bit extra when you're trying to build out. In the middle will be interesting because I think Tillman is for sure, and I think Ilie is for sure. Is it Atuesta? Is it O'Brien? I think that's going to be a tactical decision, and then I'm going to say almost guaranteed up front it's going to be Bouanga, Bogusz, and Giroud.
How hurt is Oliveira? I don't know enough about what's going on with Oliveira.
He went from questionable to out in this latest report. So again, we don't get much specifics in terms of injury, so we don't know for sure. But I would say that that's not good that he moved into that area of the injury report.
I remember briefly Steve saying that he was ahead of schedule, but it's like, what was the schedule? They're just so coy with injuries, right? Like it's, and then obviously Vela will come in the 80th minute and win the game for us.
We hope.
Logs, this genuinely made me laugh, and I'm embarrassed to say it.
Hurt is Oliveira. Miss Bones, honorary Falconer wed. Look, everyone loves Miss Bones. I think it's time for Miss Bones to bring out the smoke.
I don't know. They couldn't even give Carlos Vela our honorary Falconer.
Yeah, maybe they'll let her walk out and take a photo a few inches from the team. I think we're good, right? We don't need to do this anymore on a Saturday. Everyone enjoy your week. Next Wednesday, if we lose, we can be actually catatonic. This is a game that it was clear they were trying to win a point from, and we didn't. Waste of all of our time this evening, but the season is long, and this happens to every team at some stretch. Let's hope we can get out of it this Wednesday and break our championship curse that we've been under for a little bit. And then we can all yell Dolo in for a few weeks until we lose one more game, and then people come and say Dolo out, and then we win one, and then we say Dolo in, and then we lose another and we say Dolo out. And
at least it's predictable. So many things in life are unpredictable, but at least we know.
I can't wait until we lose to Messi in the finals and we hear Dolo out. It is. If we lose the Open Cup, I think you can have an honest conversation about what it looks like at the end of the season. Outside of that,
if you lose that and then you don't win, because also there, as much as we're like going crazy here, there is a world they still win MLS Cup. So then what do you do, right? You lose Open Cup, but you win MLS Cup. But look,
simultaneously tonight, there's a chance we end the night in 5th place. So it's not. We could
have ended the night clinched.
Yeah, but they're going to make the playoffs. They got games.
I agree. We're going to make the playoffs.
It's not. And
I prefer
honestly,
home court.
Technically,
but the way in which-
mathematically, it is still possible to win the Supporters Shield and still possible to not make the playoffs.
I mean, honestly, the way in which they seem to only be able to win games, as much as it's unbelievably frustrating and it's like a razor's edge, it seems like it's the best way to win games. And on the road, it's not a bad thing to have counter, to have defend, and then just get the horses running behind them. Like I don't love it. I wish it were different, but this is where we are.
Well, we shall see. Our theme music is done by the insane team of James Allen.
We don't have theme music for
Palmer.
We don't do.
You make sure you subscribe to the show at youtube.com.
Yeah, that's good.
At HappyFootSadFoot. You subscribe to the channel. Our Patreon is patreon.com/HappyFootSadFoot. Can I do it all from memory? You can follow us at Twitter, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and maybe Threads.
Said Threads twice. Guys, he's blowing it.
Fuck.
Really do.
If you made it this far into the live stream and you want to show your support, tell a friend about it, or go to patreon.com/HappyFootSadFoot, or pick us some Half-O Sappho inspired merch over at HappyFootSadFootPod.com. Patreons get 15% off. There's so many fucking games in a season. Why did we sign up to do this after every game? This is crazy.
I think that was your pitch to us.
It was my pitch. It's my fault. All right. Well, we'll see you all Wednesday. I'm going to be at the game. Are you guys going? Vince is not going. Darren?
I will go.
Hell yeah. All right. We'll see you guys. Darren brings stickers and give them to people. We love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye.
Miss Bones in.